This is Water Elemental.
And this is Axis, and we are here today to talk about the League of Legends. It's an ongoing show where we kind of talk about what's going on with the production of Riot Games. It's a MOBA-style battle game where a group of people run around and get pissed off at each other and eventually blow stuff up and say, GG noobs, get on my level. Got some interesting stuff this week. We have a new champion. He's an AP, kind of bursty, really cool control guy. We got a new patch to look over. We got 3 new skins, a couple of sales,
And the review of all the bots. I don't know what to call it exactly. Our experiences with the new bots.
Rise of the Machines.
They make it sound like a Terminator's happening. Log in, just lock in the characters and you just have the Terminator theme going in the background.
I need your Mercury Treads, your Doran's Blade, and your epic...
We can't hear this.
It's too good.
Garen's sitting there naked and they're just Poppy. It's like, I need your shoes, your boots.
I need your Mercury Treads, your Warmogs, and your Doran's Blade.
And the state of California.
Oh, goodness.
We're in a good mood today.
Just a little. First thing everyone's probably worried about is Ziggs. You've probably played against 1 or 2.
Instant locking jungle Ziggs.
Jungle Ziggs. Most powerful champion. The first thing I noticed when I played with a Ziggs was how incredibly long his poke range is for the amount of damage it is. I was playing Xerath a lot a couple of weeks ago, and Xerath is a champion who's like, alright, well,
I'm gonna sit back a tower and hit you from across the map.
No, Ziggs is like, I'm not gonna do any damage until I hit level 13 and I have a bunch of items. Which, don't get me wrong, it's not terrible, but you feel like you give up a lot for range. And then I played Ziggs, and even like Victor a little bit, where it's just like, lol laser beams, lol bomb for a quarter to a third of your health. Don't even care.
He has some of the longest poking range if you do the bomb right. If you hit it at the very edge and it bounces, it's almost as far as Xerath and Caitlyn. It's insane.
Oh yeah, it's a massive range on that. It's very unexpected for most people, which is why I think I was having so much trouble with it. As I just wasn't ready, because he can lob it over minions, he can bounce it, he can... I almost thought he was going to bank it off some walls. I was scared, but it doesn't happen.
Me too. I was hoping like for some like trick shots, you know, or just making pinball noises, bounces around the corner, bomb rolls behind bush, kills you. Just
that'd be scary. That'd be very scary. But no, it's very long poke range. Interesting mechanic with that. The thing that was also very surprising is there's a lot of damage in that bomb. But what surprised me was how little damage the landmines did. I don't know if people are just ranking this up last, but I felt like it was going to do a lot. It's not a whole large of amount. Neither is Satchel Charge, really.
Satchel Charge isn't. It's more of the knockback that you want with Satchel Charge. But the slow mine thing, you got to hit them right in the middle to even do probably enough damage to make it worth it. You have to land it right on top of them, and they have to cut through the middle and kind of just take out like 3/4 of that circle worth of mines.
Mm-hmm.
If they hit the edge of it, it's barely going to tickle them, and you got maybe quarter of a second to half a second of slow.
And it's the slow is what it's good for, because it lets you line up a queue really easily. And of course, like we said, the Satchel Charge didn't feel like a whole lot of damage, but again, I think it was just the build order they were doing didn't really prioritize that Satchel Charge.
I noticed that too. I played a couple of games with Ziggs, and I watched probably 6 or 7 games with other people playing Ziggs and people playing as Ziggs. And I noticed that coming from both sides, that it was just kind of lackluster damage.
But I guess that's his utility move, though, which is, I mean, it's not great. It's kind of a flash for him, but a nice knockback can be helpful for any
You gotta line up that Satchel Charge just right, though. If you get it off by a little, you're gonna be going in a direction you don't want to.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen that happen several times.
I'm gonna get away! Uh-oh, I just blew up myself into the enemy team. Crap.
Caspi's just like, hey, how are you?
Have a snake.
Oh, that was fun. But the thing that surprised me was his ult. no utility there. No like crazy effects. Millions of damage. Millions and millions of damage.
The thing is, though, I'm not 100% sure if this is a global or it's just very, very large range, but a bomb always seems to land on me no matter where I am on the map. And it's just... The game, right, it's just like, we're going to remove the global ult of Pantheon, we're going to remove the global ult of Twisted Fate, and we're probably going to try not to do that.
Well, the thing is, that's a positioning ult. That's the reason why they wouldn't do something like Karthus's ult, because... that can be countered. Having another champion on top of you from anywhere on the map, it's a little crazy.
Yeah,
but teleporting onto wards, I don't know how they can justify that. But oh well, it's a fun ult. But again, there's not much to it other than you take damage now.
I don't know the moment the bomb lands on like someone and you can't see what's going on, you just kind of lob one and guess, and then you get a double kill. So it's kind of satisfying.
It would be. But Ziggs overall, from what I've seen, the priority has been AP. Cooldown reduction I've not seen too much of because it looks like most of his skills have really hefty cooldowns as is, and we might think he might get good returns out of CDR. It's kind of got Vagar syndrome where you're like, well, I'm just going to blow all my stuff, and that's all I'm going to do this team fight. I'm going to get my 1 or 2 kills, and I'm going to get out of there.
Yeah, but with Vagar, at least he has the
playpen?
Playpen, yeah. He has the playpen, and he has that really long-range, delayed dark matter fall down from the sky thing, which at least...
Yeah, I mean, it's a 1-to-1. So.
It's 1-to-1. So, you know, at least with Vagar, there's an explanation why he's just such a glass cannon. But with Ziggs, you think you would have a little bit more...
Yeah, I mean,
sustain.
I've seen his Q start going pretty fast, but I think maybe he could use a little bit shaved off of that. But who knows? I mean, the Q is already tons of damage, so...
right. Freak said so. He deals tons of damage.
He did. He was scurry. As I was playing another caster against him, and it was just bomb, 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 like, ow!
At this point,
ow.
Unless you have a Ziggs against Ziggs in middle, it's really hard to, you know, be in control of middle lane. It's just...
He's scurry.
He's scary. It has to be Ziggs on Ziggs at this point.
Ziggs on Ziggs violence?
We must stop the Ziggs on Ziggs violence. It's getting out of control. We're losing mid lane.
Oh, goodness. We're going to hell.
Yep.
But,
what do you give him for a score?
I guess when I compare him to the last mage we got, Victor, Victor I really liked because he had a lot of utility. He had a stun/slow, he had a silence with a really cool ult, his laser beam gave him vision, and he had a shield, and he had a really cool mechanic, and then going to, I throw bombs and deal damage.
None of the bombs, when they explode, they don't give vision, which is a weird thing. You'd think that might be a cool mechanic.
It blows up the camera.
Blows up the camera. You can't see.
Period.
Period. Exclamation point.
Oh, jeez.
But
again, going from really high utility, kind of cool maneuverability to just direct damage, which, you know, is some people's playstyle, but I just can't think of it too greatly. I mean, it'd be fun for, like, a weakened character, but I don't think he'll be too incredible on a team comp. But overall, I give him maybe... I don't want to rate him too low, because, I mean...
He's good.
Satchel Charge is fun. He's got interesting new concepts with that landmine. The Satchel Charge is interesting.
Yeah, they put a lot of work into
and
his
the
mechanics.
bouncing thing is interesting.
Yeah, the spell mechanics themselves are really interesting.
But it's just boring at some other parts, just in terms of what the spells actually do. So I'm gonna give him a 7, just because I would give him a 6, but I can't be too critical because it's a bounce mechanic. That's really cool. The Satchel Charge, when it gets down to brass tacks, is really cool. But other than that, everything else is kind of bland.
Yeah, like I've said before, I'm going to give him a 7 too. His mechanics are great, but he's just... He doesn't have enough utility to make him fit in when you can have other mages and other AP carries like that who have more utility to him along with these great abilities. He has great abilities, but they only can go so far. He has great harassing potential early game, and he has a global ult for late game. But he doesn't have a good enough slow, and that Satchel Charge only get you so far. As far
Yeah,
as
I
not
might
that.
compare him to like Karthus. I mean, Karthus has great damage. He is a slow and just tons of damage and a global ult. But he doesn't help his team much other than going, run at things, and then just cast spells until he dies. Ziggs feels kind of the same way, where it's just like, run at things, blow things up. Is my teammate in trouble? Well, I could drop my wall on them, maybe? Or my landmines?
Walk up in front of him with the file, just, hey, get a file, and walk away.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not a whole lot of utility there, and in a game where magic resistance is getting a lot more prevalent with runes, it's really hard for AP to find a spot, so you really kind of have to bring something else to the team other than just straight damage.
Don't get me wrong, I like the concept, I like the character, I like him a lot more than Sejuani. He's a very interesting character, it's just, he needs more. Just like Sejuani, she needs more, and that's probably going to be the pattern. Expect the lackluster expectations.
Expect the unexpected 2011.
But
oh goodness.
Speaking of Karthus, we have the new AI bots that have been introduced in this patch, and some of them are really mean.
Malzahar is scurry.
We don't have just any bot anymore. We have Malzahar. We have
all
Karthus.
The casters are mean.
Karthus has insane map presence. As soon as he realizes you're at that he can ultimate you and kill you, you're dead. He's gonna activate it. Just right away, he's just like, target acquired. Beep, 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 blah. Just like, ah. Just all the casters are mean. Some of the melee aren't as good, but...
They're mean.
Like Leona.
Like Trundle. Trundle has a tendency to block himself with his pillar. I'll get him! Let me just drop this pillar behind myself. God damn it. It's ridiculous. I don't know what he's doing.
They've gotten smarter. I do appreciate that, and they've upped the challenge a bit, which is really nice. And along with that, they added a new scaling system to experience you gain in the bots versus AI. So if you're 1 through 9, you get 100% experience and you get 100% IP, and as you progress through the level ranks, it slowly diminishes up to about 70% IP.
Yeah, something lower.
But it's better than playing just a custom game. So it's still worth, if you're level 30 and you want to practice a new champion, to go into bots versus AI, and you'll still get experience. You might get 30% less, but that's about the same amount you'd get on a 3s map.
True.
So, I like it. I'll be using it to practice new champions and stuff like that.
I was kind of playing around with it with some friends, just to see how it was. Not a huge fan, but it was kind of goofy at times, just running at things. We also, with the bots, came the patch. Actually, the bots came in the patch, but either way, a patch happened. We got some cool new stuff. Ash buffs. Wasn't really expecting that. Really,
Jax buffs to help out his remake.
Jax buffs as well. We have some Lee Sin nerfs, though we kind of knew about those. Everyone's really happy about that.
Boo! Crippling the blind man.
Good. Punch him in the stomach. We have a couple of remakes to Stark's Fervor and to the Medallion of Valor, or the Emblem of Valor. And then we have a whole new item.
Locket of the Iron Solari.
Solara Salary.
You pronounced it wrong. Type. Yes, I can't pronounce.
Solari. L'Oreal. Tier free. But either way, I don't like the changes to Stark's. I like that it has health now, but losing the main thing about it was the armor shred and the massive lifesteal. 20% lifesteal and 20% armor pen, or not 20%, but 20 armor reduction was huge. And losing that armor shred sucks. I built that with Trundle with a black cleaver with his ult. Oh, I tore tanks apart. But now I feel like I'm losing a lot of stuff, which is kind of a drag.
They added cooldown reduction to it and gave it the health. It made it more of an item to put on a Taric or an Arasana. They want more of the support to hold these items for the rest of their team, while the other teams can put in different items like a Black Cleaver instead. Which, unless I'm playing a Taric, which is probably one of the only few champions that will actually use the lifesteal like that, I'm not going to pick it up for support. And that's what they intended this to be, and I don't like it. like I got it and I tested it out. The cooldown reduction is nice, but by the time I get to the point where I'm like, well, I could get a Stark's.
Well, I see this being something for AD tanks, so AD supportive tanks like Garen, J4, maybe even Malphite or Rammus. Rammus, it's just because of their armor to damage. I don't see it being hugely popular. I mean, it wasn't hugely popular before, but if a team built it, it was amazing. But now I just don't see it being really a standout item like it used to be.
Yeah.
Of course, the Emblem of Valor and Medina Solara, awesome. Those are fantastic items.
The locket is really nice. The health, the armor. The shield is actually very noticeable in a team fight. You pop it probably right before you engage. It soaks up just enough damage that you have an early lead where they're just about 3/4 at health, and you're still up there at really high health, especially on a Taric, where with his ultimate activated with the shield, gives you such a huge advantage that a lot of people
I mean
don't
with the damage or with the healing cooldown increase, I mean this is a huge thing to pop during downtime for heals or just as a pre-fight buffer, like you said.
And in Dominion, since heals are also reduced even more, this item's really great if you're running
it's a flat
tank.
Shield.
Yeah,
So
because shields aren't nerfed.
It's not affected by the DR.
So this is a great item they added. I'm kind of glad to see that they're adding new items. The last major item we got was
the Onyx Bark change.
Yeah, but that was just a transfer from Dominion. So,
which is true.
But hey, it's good to see that they're still adding items and they're not just too worried about champions.
Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to personally with this patch following my Ash arrows.
What?
I mean, because it gives vision now.
Oh.
Before you would just shoot one in the dark and you just have to watch it and you would see it disappear if it hit someone. Now I can actually see who it hits.
Okay, yeah, I thought that they just gave vision when
I mean, Ash has essentially 2 Scout Hawks now, which will be cool.
Well, I can't see. Time to blow my ult and hope it hits something.
Seriously. Cooldown Ash, Whee! Ultimate Scout. We got a couple of skins this week. Who do we got?
Well, we have the 2 Ziggs skins, which are actually pretty impressive for release skins.
Oh, yeah,
Recently, they've been kind of lackluster with Sejuani and Xerath, but these 2 are really cool-looking skins.
Yeah, no, the Alchemist one, it actually replaces his bombs with, like, chemical.
And they're bright green, which is
it's really neat looking.
And when he eats them, you kind of confused. It's like, why would you do that? BRB, guys, I got a base.
Feel better.
Just blows up.
And I haven't seen the other one in game. Is that any good?
I've seen it a couple of times. We'll put the screenshot up right here and kind of compare. But it doesn't... If you have a choice, you're going to go with the Mad Scientist one because it's just so goofy.
I mean, unless you're going for a pirate-themed team, I don't see this guy fitting in.
Mm-mm. And then as for new champion skins that aren't released, we only got one this week, which is Scarlet Hammer Poppy. And this skin is by far her best.
Lollipoopy. Number 1.
Lollipoopy is not the same. This skin, it redesigns her whole helmet. You can barely see her face. She has a really intimidating shield. She's bright red.
They took away the scariest part of Poppy.
Her face?
Yes.
Yeah, but her hair comes out of spikes in the back. Why would you want that? I'm not a woman, but would you
need
put
hair spikes to protect them? She doesn't want to get frizzy if she has to fight Fizz.
Have her hair singed off. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I really like this skin. I've seen it in game. I've seen people play with it. A lot of different particle effects and stuff like that. It's worth the $9.75. Check it out. I'm disappointed that there's only one skin this week, because last week we didn't get any because they brought out 4 for the Lunar. But anyways,
what do we got for sales, though?
For skin sales, we have Deep Sea Kog'Maw.
Deep Sea Kog'Maw, well, it's not personally a lot of people's favorite. Everybody likes the butterfly. Everyone likes the Chinese New Year Poppy or Kog'Maw with the fireworks. Still a solid choice. I mean, it's a very detailed model. I love anglerfish, IRL. So this is kind of a throwback to one of those guys, and they're really scary and cool. So even if I got a Kog'Maw skin, this would probably be the one. But again, a lot of cool ones out there. You kind of got to.
It gives you that dark Cthulhu feel to it, and that's what I like about it too.
Ooh.
Next, we got Tempest Janna. Personally, this is probably one of my favorite of her skins. She only has 4, and this is the one I probably use the most. It changes her palette, especially with their model remake. It's a lot more noticeable, the changes. It gives her more of like a lightning feel to it. It doesn't feel just like she's throwing around and stuff like that. She looks like she's given more lightning effects and stuff, even though it's not really seen. But I kind of like the feel of the skin, and for only $260, it's really nice.
Oh yeah.
And then finally, Queen Ash.
Queen Ash was the favorite for a long time. I've always used Woad Ash just for trolls, because it's such a horrible looking skin that it's extremely funny to me. But Queen Ash was the favorite for a long time. Now that Hooker Ash has come out, that's,
Hooker Ash.
yeah,
Though the gem.
mm-hmm. Hooker Ash has become the more popular one. But if you're still looking for more of a classical kind of high class girl,
What? No cleavage on Ash? What is this madness?
yeah, you never get black cleaver on Ash.
Dude.
Only 487 for a high class girl. It's not too bad. Other sales this week, we've got some champ sales. Who do we got?
We have Shyvana, Shaco, and Tryndamere.
All fantastic junglers that kind of don't do too hot in the lane phase. All very good gankers. They're all very mean late game. Well, Shaco's not too great end game, but Shaco's the terror of early game. And the
He can hit level 2 within 30 seconds of the game.
And then come gank mid easily. It's frightening how strong he is.
He's a great jungler, and he, especially even after the nerfs to his Jack in the Boxes, he's still a very big threat.
And Tryndamere and Shyvana just snowball so fast. It's ridiculous.
And they're able to hop through walls with their own abilities and stuff, so they can get around the map really quickly.
Oh yeah, very frightening champions, all three of these. So if you're looking for a scurry jungler, early game or late game, pick them up accordingly.
Now, Riot has talked about the League of Legends World Tour. They haven't gone into too much detail about where they're going. They've just kind of mentioned that they're going to be in Spain now, as well as Brazil. But I really want to see where they're going to be coming in the United States, if they're going to do multiple stops, or they're just going to be on one side of the U.S.
Who knows?
But definitely keep an eye on that if you're outside the United States and want to kind of be in the big events. So that's really about it for
official news.
Yeah,
let's move on to our own section here.
Alright, so we're moving on to questions. We talked about this last week, but someone asked us to, come up with our own characters and stuff like that, and we thought about, and we're gonna kind of share what we would like to see as far as champions that were put into league. So you can go first, Axis?
Sure. I always kind of talk about this guy a little bit. Champion idea I had a while back. I sort of just throw new stuff on it every now and again. I always thought of sort of an RNG champion. I kind of got the idea from Santa Claus, the Santa Claus Gragas skin, where it's just a champion who's kind of lugging around a satchel of loot. And I always, I've sort of broken it down, where like his passive would basically be for every non-consumable item you have in your inventory, you deal 1% more damage. And his Q, he would basically pull a random item out of his sack of loot, and it would be based on the items currently in your inventory. And to do a quick roll for however many items there were. If it were an AD item, it would do X effect and maybe stun. If it were an AP item, it would do this and slow. If it were a health item, it would give you some tank stats or something like that. Just something where it was really based on your inventory, and to do a slash roll and then pick something out from there. As far as what his W would do, it would be sort of like a coin throw, where he'd just throw a bunch of coins at an enemy, and it'd be very spammable with sort of a low mana cost, low damage. But if you killed a minion or a character with it, you would get bonus bounty. So like, when you get, X amount for killing a creep, you'd get a little extra on top of that. His E would probably be a simple, maneuvering thing. You need to get a movement speed burst and then hit someone, or a flash maybe. And his ult, I forgot what I did for his ult, but I know it was something about a really awesome thing where he just kind of pulls a really powerful treasure out. And I think it was something like glasses, where he shoots laser beams. But basically he'd be stationary, and you could still right click. He would change the direction he was facing, but he would be shooting a beam out in front of him. So he'd basically become like a turret, and he would just shoot a beam out, and you could turn the character, and he would change the direction he was shooting, and then you could just deal damage to a lot of people in a swath. But yeah, that's sort of my idea. I'll write it down officially. I'll put it up on the forums. It's going to take some time to do it. But that's sort of my guy. I've been thinking of a name for him, but I have it written down. I'll post it soon.
For me, it would be, ironically, an Aquamancer. He was kind of a character.
What?
Shut up. He would be a support healer with a lot of skill shots. And essentially his passive would say, for MP5 and HP5 items, you get an increased extra percentage. And it would kind of utilize HP5 and MP5 and keep him constantly in the battle. And his passive would increase the percentages. It would just add an extra percent for everything you have equipped to him. His Q would be a skill shot heal. It'd be a healing wave, and what it would do is it would shoot in front, and every target it hits, it'd be kind of like Karma's, but in a line, so he could reach out really far and heal his teammates while standing back. His W would be a cleansing shield, which would put a small shield on an ally, and if he has any dots or this effects, it would remove up to 2 of them at random. His E would be an AoE splash that would just deal a good amount of damage and slows enemy for a short amount of time. His ultimate would be geysers. It would be kind of like targeted like rumbles, where you're able to target from a far range and pull back, and geysers would pop up and knock up and move enemies slightly towards you into combat. So essentially, he would utilize all that water effects. And
So
stuff
it'd be like a remote Shyvana ult, where it like picks them up and drags them.
Well, it'd be kind of like rumbles, where it would just kind of gushers would pop out from the bottom and just kind of knock them up, but kind of shift them forward a bit. It wouldn't be really heavy, like just pulling everybody in like Oriana's and stuff. It would be it's a knockup, but it would shift people in a little bit more.
Right.
But it wouldn't be overpowered enough where it would just pull people in really high. And
Let's quick ult. Oh god, no!
But it would be kind of like that, and all his abilities would have nice water effects and stuff like that, and not be fizz at all. But he'd be a healer, and he would be a skill shot heals, whereas heals are really, really long range, but you have to time them right to help your teammates from far. So it's not just global heal, there we go, team's fair, but you can help them from afar, and you can set up situations where if your teammate's low on health, you can stretch out enough if you're a good player with it. And yeah.
Cool. Well, there's our follow-up from last week. Time for a question, though. Our first question here comes...
Working on it. It's thinking.
From Mestre12. He asks, is Jolly Green a Brazilian? The answer is yes, he is.
No, he's not. No, he's not. He's my brother. He is not.
You're Brazilian too?
No, I'm not.
Wow! I didn't know.
Do I?
That's all the questions we have time for today.
No. What about the really interesting one we looked into? The 100th champion. This one is also...
I was just hoping to make you a Brazilian forever, but we can go into our conspiracy theories. Our next question also comes from Mester12. He says, with all the champions that have come out in Season 2, pre-Season 2, is there any ones that are really impressive, or do you think that they will leave the best and most impressive champion for number 100?
So we kind of were curious. We're like, how many champions are in the league with Ziggs? And that is 92, right?
No, I think it was 90. Was it 94?
94.
I think it's 94 right
90,
now.
93, 94. And so we were wondering, if they keep up this two-person cycle...
one every 2 weeks.
When would estimated be the next champion?
And it's right around April 1st.
So, we were kind of thinking, what would be that champion? And then we were thinking, it's like, it can't be Lee Sin, because they did that last year.
Can't be Lee Sin. So it's got to be Earth. It's number 100, right around April Fool's Day. It's got to be Earth. It's going to happen.
Or it's going to be a discontinued champion. It's going to be someone that the league has been tempting around since
Plant
2009.
King. Plant King. Oh, gosh. But it'd be funny. But for number 100, they got to do something spectacular.
A dragon riding a shark, riding a unicorn with laser beams and a rocket launcher and sunglasses. Something like that.
Or just Earth.
Or just Earth. But that's what we think. We We've looked it up, and I'm kind of excited now.
Yeah,
What is this?
It's soon.
We're preemptively building up to this amazing champion that's going to probably be horrible.
Oh, I hope it's horrible. I do. Because then I'll have something to complain about, and people say nice things to me when I complain.
How dare you talk bad about anime?
Don't you know about Korean mythology? I don't. But that's okay. It's okay.
Well, it's a very packed week. We're running a bit long.
Just a little bit. But those are our questions for the week, guys. We love questions. Please send them to our email at spazticgaming@gmail.com or post them in the comments section below. We usually pick out 1 or 2 per week. We talk about them. We have a good time.
Email. We love email questions.
We do. It's true.
We also have the trailer up for the next show we're bringing up. It's Top Deck. We've been talking about it for a while, and I finally have gotten my spirits back up to finish it.
I'm looking forward to all these fresh and interesting tutu tales.
What?
I mean...
Oh! Stupid. Yes, tutorials misspelled in the trailer. It was a rendering error. For some reason, my editor decided that tutorials is spelled correctly, no matter what I do to it.
Yeah, tutu tails sounds awesome. It's like something Tails would wear. Or, I'm sorry, miles per hour.
God.
But, yeah, cool new questions. We got a bunch of new content coming. Look forward to it, please.
Check out the forums. We're active with that. We are going to put up everything we've mentioned about the champions we've created.
Yay!
Our own fanfiction. And if you want to add art to that, that's pretty cool too. Maybe prizes are involved with that.
Maybe.
But that's really about it, guys. And, yeah.
Spin Axis.
And Water Elemental.
I am so cold and tired right now.
Winter's coming.
No, winter is over.
But it's getting really snowy.
Well, it's gonna snow in March a lot.
Winter 2, the revenge.
It is winter 2.